Hi everyone, I'm James Broadbent. I'm with Broadbent Financial Services. We are a family-run insurance agency that's been servicing northern Utah and southern Idaho since 1980. We've been really blessed to work with a lot of great people, and we were really excited to share this new product with you that's coming into the market. With all the cuts and different things going on in Washington, D.C. In Medicare spending, we are seeing a huge exodus in a lot of really, frankly, really nice plans that have been here for a while, and they got sweeter and sweeter, and now we're seeing a lot of them go, or at least get watered down really, really heavily. So we are excited to share this because this is coming in and it's really got a lot of value. And so in order to do it justice, I want to talk through really quick what are the basics of Medicare, and then what are the different features, so that way you can kind of see how this plan actually has a little bit of like best of both worlds. So really quick, we all know about Medicare A, B, C, and D, right? So with Medicare A and B, we've all paid our premium through taxes for years and years while we worked before we got to 65. Once we get to 65, then we get to pay the premium for Part B. If anyone says that they aren't paying a premium for Part B, it's probably because it's coming out of a Social Security benefit they're already receiving, and they pull out that premium before it comes to your bank account. Those A and B, though, they cover your hospital bills and doctor bills, right? But they don't have like a max out of pocket or a cap for your risk as an individual consumer. So if you had something really crazy and big happen, you could be out a lot of money over the period of a year, 50,000, 100,000, something ridiculous like that. But what they've done in a nutshell is that in order to cap your risk that you still have from Medicare's Parts A and B, Part C is implemented or created, right? And then in Part D, and I'll come back to Part C in a second, but in Part D, that is for your drugs. And so that's, your drug plan. Most of you watching this are probably very familiar with the drug plans and how they work and how you can get your prescriptions paid for, or at least significantly reduce your cost to pay for your drugs with a Part D plan. But where I want to focus most of my time with you here is on Part C. See, with a Part C plan, there's really two main blocks to Part C. And so that first part is, you've probably seen these, but there's what we call a Medicare sup. Technically, that's short for a Medicare supplement. But a Medicare sup, some of the pros and cons of a Medicare sup are that the first main thing is that you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere that will accept Medicare, to be specific, right? You can go anywhere where a doctor or a hospital will accept Medicare. If they'll accept Medicare, you can go there with your plan. And that's not restricted to like a state or anything. That's anywhere in the country that will accept a Medicare payment. One of the things, though, that's also really great about it is that you also have a very low out-of-pocket. So you have a low out-of-pocket cost. And then this last one is that it's generally tends to be kind of the con of the plan, and that's kind of the drawback, is that you have high premiums. So with a Medicare sup, you can go anywhere, your out-of-pocket is low, but the big trade-off for that nice parts of the plan is that you're going to have a high cost or a high premium to pay for that plan. Now, on the other side of this, for Part C, there's the other side, which is going to be a Medicare Advantage. Now, forgive me for putting an MA, it just is a lot faster to write. But the pros and cons of a Medicare Advantage plan, they have some really sweet features. But the cool thing about Medicare Advantage plans is that you could have a $0 premium. Other things that you can have, I really actually like to refer to it as like the sugar on top, is that you get these extra plan perks on top of a Medicare Advantage plan. So, and I'm just gonna go short for sugar. So, and really, when I say the sugar that they add on top of it, there's going to be like things that are not insurance. So, for instance, there's like silver sneakers or gym plan benefit, or there's like, we want you to get outside. So occasionally on some plans out there, they'll be like, you can have a national park benefit, or we'll pay for green fees or your bowling fees or something like that, something to get people out and be more healthy. They're kind of use it or lose it, but they're great perks on top of the plan. Now, there's two cons to this, or two downsides, if I can put it this way. The first one, and as you look at it, it's more like, I guess you can view it as a trade-off. Here we have, low out-of-pocket costs and high premiums. Here we have we could have next to no premium that you're actually ending up paying. But over here, as a result, we have high out of pocket. So high out of pocket costs, when I say that, I mean like you have like a deductible or a max out of pocket that's going to be more like a couple $1,000s up to like $4,000 or $6,000. And that's not unusual in the Medicare Advantage world. And the other thing, and this is kind of like a little bit of the stickler compared to a SUP, and that is that you would also have a network. So over here, remember how we talked about with the Medicare SUP, it was really great. If anybody accepts a payment for Medicare, you can go there. Over here, you are tied to a network, which, like, if I go to the wrong doctor, or sometimes my doctor doesn't work with that certain insurance company, so technically they're not going to help me pay for that visit at all. I have to go pay cash or something like that. Or sometimes you could go to the wrong hospital, and then instead of having your in-network costs and your deductible and max out of pocket, it's a lot bigger bill. And that's stuff that you really don't want to have happen, right? So that's, in a nutshell, those are kind of like the various pros and cons of each plan. Now, with this Medicare Advantage, this Medicare MSA plan, technically, the MSA plan is a type of Medicare Advantage plan, but it has some things that really set it apart. And let's talk through that. So first of all, with the Medicare MSA plan, you have a $0 premium. That's actually by law. I don't know why, but it just is. On top of that, one of the things, let's hit this out of the gate real quick. You also have high out-of-pocket costs. So that's going to be like things like you're going to have a deductible. So that could look like a $2,000 or $4,000, or if you've seen the sheet, then at that point, like you can see those out-of-pocket costs, and then the plan kicks in and pays 100% thereafter. So far we've got our $0 premium, high out-of-pocket costs, but here's one thing that's really cool about this plan, and that is you can go anywhere where a hospital or a doctor, if they'll take a payment from Medicare, you can go there, and they'll take that, and there's really not a network that you're tied to. So you get this $0 premium, but you get the nice accessibility that you get with a Medicare SUP, but you don't have to pay these high premiums. Now, the last thing that's my favorite part about this plan is this. So remember how we talked about how they had those plans that were kind of like use it or lose it plans, benefits, the silver sneakers and things like that. That is the sugar on top. And the sugar on top in this plan, since it's a Medicare Advantage plan technically, the sugar on top is this. The money that they were getting, that insurance companies were getting from CMS to give you these extra perks, CMS actually takes that money and puts it directly into an MSA for you of, it could be $2,400 or even $3,600. and they take that money and put it in your MSA. And then if you don't use it this year or next year or for 3 years, who gets to keep that money? You or the insurance company? The answer is obviously you. You get to keep that money. Once you get a couple $1,000s in there, you can actually invest that money so to help it even grow even more. It doesn't have to sit stagnant. So that being said, with all of these different plans, the Medicare MSA is really different than what we've ever seen before. Let me say this. This is not a total fit for everyone. But if you can work with having a zero premium, you can go anywhere, you have high out-of-pocket costs, and you can work with that sugar on top that you get to keep year over year and build your nest egg of building up a medical retirement. This Medicare Advantage, this Medicare MSA might be a really great option for you. So that being said, if you have any other questions, and also if you would like to enroll or you're interested to move forward and see if this looks like it's going to be a fit for you, please also give us a call down below as well down below this video. So again, my name is James Broadbent. I really appreciate you taking the time to learn about this. I hope that you found this valuable, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon.